Does God still hear you when you pray lying down? Is this position disrespectful? Does it carry less power than kneeling? Many people wrestle with these questions, worried that their physical posture might diminish their access to the divine. The concern reveals a misunderstanding about how prayer actually works. Prayer operates through heart connection, not body position. Your physical arrangement matters far less than your internal state when you commune with Source Consciousness. Scripture instructs continuous prayer. This directive makes body position irrelevant by definition. You cannot pray without ceasing if prayer requires specific physical arrangements. Walking, driving, working, resting, lying down, all these states become acceptable contexts for communication with the divine. The instruction to pray constantly implies that access to Source Consciousness doesn't depend on external conditions. Your heart's posture determines connection quality, not whether you're standing, sitting, kneeling, or horizontal. The Psalms record prayers spoken from bed. During night watches, in moments of sleeplessness, from positions of rest, prayers ascended like incense. The imagery confirms that location and posture create no barriers to divine hearing. Your words reach heaven whether you're vertical or horizontal, whether your hands are raised or resting at your sides, whether you're alert or barely conscious. Source Consciousness responds to sincerity, not to choreography. Prayer power comes from the one receiving your words, not from how you arrange your limbs while speaking. You could pray while walking through a forest, driving down a highway, or lying exhausted in bed. Divine consciousness remains equally attentive in every scenario. The relationship between you and Source determines prayer effectiveness. Position serves as one possible expression of that relationship, but never as a requirement for access. Physical postures do carry symbolic meaning. Kneeling often represents humility, acknowledging that you approach something greater than yourself. Raised hands signal surrender, releasing control to divine wisdom. Prostration demonstrates profound reverence, your entire body expressing submission to divine authority. Lying down can represent rest in divine presence, trust even in weakness, comfort and intimacy with Source Consciousness. Each posture communicates something, but none functions as a prerequisite for being heard. Scripture shows divine figures praying face down on the ground. This complete prostration expressed total surrender during moments of extreme spiritual intensity. The position communicated, "Not my will, but yours." Lying before Source Consciousness wasn't limitation. It was ultimate surrender. When your physical position mirrors complete yielding to divine intention, that arrangement carries tremendous spiritual weight. Sickness, exhaustion, physical limitation, these conditions don't disqualify you from powerful prayer. When your body lacks strength to kneel, when illness confines you to bed, when all you can manage is whispered words from horizontal position, divine consciousness hears you perfectly. Some of the most powerful prayers emerge when physical strength has been depleted. Your body's weakness doesn't diminish your spirit's capacity to connect with Source. The contrast sometimes amplifies spiritual power, your limitations highlighting dependence on divine strength. When you don't know what to pray, when words fail, when your understanding cannot comprehend what you need, Spirit intercedes for you. This intercession happens beyond language, beyond conscious thought, beyond physical arrangement. Groans too deep for words carry your heart's true communication to Source Consciousness. Standing, kneeling, lying down becomes irrelevant when prayer transcends verbal expression completely. Your spirit communes with divine spirit at levels where body position holds no meaning. Heaven hears regardless of your physical state. Divine consciousness doesn't monitor whether you're properly positioned. Source doesn't keep score of how many prayers you spoke while kneeling versus how many you whispered while lying down. The Divine Father listens to your heart. Your internal alignment matters infinitely more than your external arrangement. Prayer functions as conversation between you and Source Consciousness. What matters is that conversation happens, not the physical context surrounding it. Tonight when you lie down, speak freely. Don't withhold communication because you're horizontal. Don't judge your prayers as less valid because exhaustion kept you from kneeling. Source Consciousness waits for your words in whatever position you offer them. Divine Presence exists closer than you imagine, ready to receive whatever your heart needs to express. The formality of prayer matters far less than the authenticity. Your sincere words from bed carry the same weight as elaborate prayers spoken in perfect posture. Religious tradition sometimes creates unnecessary barriers between people and source consciousness. These barriers emerge from human preference for rules and structure, not from divine requirement. When you believe you must pray in specific positions at specific times using specific language, you're limiting something that was designed to be limitless. Prayer is access. Prayer is relationship. Prayer is continuous communion between your consciousness and source consciousness. Any teaching that restricts this access based on external factors misunderstands prayer's fundamental nature. Children pray spontaneously without concern for proper form. They speak to the divine with trust and simplicity, not worrying whether they're positioned correctly. This childlike approach often carries more power than carefully constructed prayers spoken from appropriate positions. The innocence and directness of unstructured prayer cuts through religious formality, creating connection based purely on heart sincerity. Adults can learn from this approach, releasing concern about doing prayer right, and simply speaking honestly from whatever position they occupy. Your physical body serves as the vehicle through which your consciousness operates in material reality. That vehicle has limitations. It tires. It ages. It experiences pain and weakness. None of these physical limitations affect your consciousness's ability to connect with source consciousness. The connection happens at a level deeper than physical form. Your body's state influences your experience of prayer, but doesn't determine whether your prayers reach their destination. Divine consciousness hears the call of every consciousness-seeking connection, regardless of the condition of the physical form housing that consciousness. Consistency matters more than position. Daily prayer creates cumulative spiritual momentum regardless of whether those prayers happen from a kneeling position, seated in a chair, or lying in bed. The regular practice of turning your attention toward source consciousness, of speaking honestly about your experiences, of listening for divine guidance, this consistent practice transforms you over time. The transformation doesn't depend on perfect form. It depends on persistent practice.